Hello. So I wanted to make one final video on this Astroworld thing. I think hopefully my final video on it, just because I feel like I want to move on, think about other things. It's kind of been a bit of a distraction, but it's been very, very interesting, the whole thing. This video is going to be a bit waffly. I haven't planned it. I've got a load of like loose ends, random final thoughts. I just wanted to empty my brain of everything, because this whole Astroworld thing it seemed to just explode my mind with thoughts. It was so kind of curious, the whole incident. I just like the feeling of being able to just fully empty my brain. And I'm not too bothered about making this video concise, so don't watch if you want to. I don't want to waste anybody's time. This is just going to be me waffling my final thoughts on the topic. So in this video though, I'm planning to I've got a couple more mysteries I've found. I'm just going to mention them, and then the main video is going to be about, I've been trying to kind of like understand the whole thing, understand Travis, understand his fans, understand the times that we live in, and just trying to figure out if I can kind of suss it out a little bit better. That's all I was trying to do, but my thoughts are a bit waffly on it. And then I might look into some other loose ends, some other little thoughts. Yeah, I'll get into that. So the mysteries, though, quickly just starting with the mysteries. I did find one other thing in one of my other videos. I mentioned that there was a sign called "Will We Survive?" And the weird thing I found about that sign was it seemed to be the only sign. Well, I did just come across another video, and there was a flag in this one, and the flag is a Switzerland flag. And in fact, that's a lie. I have found two other flags. And this one here, but this one has never waved. It said "Open up the pits." Here. But if you are a conspiracy theorist type of person, you will know, when I saw that flag, I suddenly thought that's another coincidence again. Now, people who think this is all crazy will think I'm a lunatic and think what are you talking about? It's just a Switzerland flag. But if you've been looking into this, that's another really weird coincidence to me, because of the fact I mentioned in this other video, this weird connection with this whole thing. It's got this big mountain with a tunnel going through it, a portal, and the Antichrist symbology, and it reminded me and of many people of the Gotthard base tunnel. The whole Gotthard, but this was the ceremony. I'm going to get into this in a minute. But the Gotthard base tunnel in Switzerland, and there's also the CERN Hadron Collider in Switzerland, and there seems to be connected. People mentioning it. The CERN thing, Hadron Collider, they're kind of looking for the God particle, trying to open up dimensions, all a bit kind of like very, very weak links, but still, summoning the Antichrist from the depth, that kind of themology. But it's like, it's not really proof, but it's just weak links in that area. And they've got like a statue of Shiva outside them, which is the god of destruction, and it's built on an ancient Apollo temple or something. I don't know. Just possibilities, just all weird speculation. And then the Gotthard base tunnel. The really weird thing about the Gotthard base tunnel, which is also in Switzerland, it's the longest, deepest tunnel ever built, and it had this weird opening ceremony in 2016, and it was really satanic. And it had all this weird imagery in it, and yeah, this was like, it was just people dancing around in their pants like this. Okay. As you do. It had this weird guy here who was like the central figure, a goat's head with a man's body. Seems a bit kind of demonic, satanic, and he also begins like this, some kind of angel with the little boobies. It looks like a man with boobs, and basically it's reminded me and a lot of people of this guy called Baphomet. He's like a goat's head, man's body, little boobies, like that, and it seems to be that figure. And according to him, according to this, he's some kind of a deity worshipped by the Knights Templar. I don't know any of this stuff, and maybe it goes deeper. I don't know whether it represents Satan or what the hell it represents, but something a bit dark. Doesn't seem very wholesome, particularly. And there was all this weird imagery, so people dancing around. This apparently is him. This is Baphomet on the presiding. These represent the 9 deaths, apparently. If you watch this the ceremony, these represent, because there was 9 people who died during the making of the Gotthard base tunnel, which was another slight coincidence, because you got the 9 people who died in Pearl Jam, 8, and then the 9th 5 days later, and then Astroworld, you had 8 first, then the 9th 5 days later, and obviously you've got a 10th now 9 days after that. So it's, you know, weak links, but for some people that might be a bit weird. But 9 people died there, and there was all this weird stuff going on. This is they represent the 9 people who died, and that is apparently Baphomet or something like that, presiding over the top. And the Pope was there, and they had some weird like sacrificial lamb. I don't know. Again, could be meaningful to somebody. There's all-seeing eye they had there. They obviously had that at Travis's thing. They also had this, which was this is the biggest coincidence, I think, is that weird figure of eyes there, which is very weird. And obviously Travis had that as well. So that was something that stood out to me. This Baphomet devil creature looking ominous. And then he started like shagging lots of people as well. Here's the eyes. And he starts like copulating. Is that the word? So he's having a good time, and then he dies. Spoiler. I'll speed it up. And he just dies. He died, but then he gets kind of raised from the dead later on. He's back again, and as all this happens, Switzerland. There he is. More copulating. And I think a little bit more copulating, and then a baby's born in this one. I don't know whether that's supposed to represent. Doesn't really seem like that represents the Antichrist being born, but so it's a bit weird. But you know, a baby's born. It's all very weird. It could do. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, weird ceremony, and there was a Switzerland flag there, basically. And you got the CERN as well, the god of Shiva. I mentioned that. So and then the Switzerland flag. I just thought that was like well coincidental. As soon as I saw a flag, I was like, oh, there is one other flag there. And then they unfurled it, and it was the bloody Switzerland flag. And this is at the period where he's watching the ambulance arrive. Right at that moment, when the ambulance appears, they get the flag out, and it's just Switzerland flag. Of all the flags, I don't know. Might be coincidence, but I don't think so. I just think it's, I don't know. I don't know what is going on. I'm just letting people know. And so that is one thing, and then there was one other coincidence I heard, I came across as well, which is that I looked into the average age of the people who died at the Pearl Jam concert, and they were also 21. The first 8 are 21, and the first 9 are all 9 are 21. Average age is 21. And if you remember in my other video, I mentioned that the Travis Scott, at the moment when he says the line "N-words dying for the chain around my neck," that's life alert. You have to watch the video to see its significance. He's wearing a Sid Vicious t-shirt with his death date, and the Sid Vicious died age 21, and right on that line, right on the Pearl Jam t-shirt, all those link ups. And the first 8 who died at Astroworld was 21, the first 9 were 21, and it's only Ezra Blount who brings it down to age 20. Yeah, I still don't. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Seems weird coincidences to me. You could argue that the average age of most people who go to these festivals is 21. It might not be as crazy as you'd think. I did have a naturalistic explanation that might explain it away, but not entirely. But if either Travis or the design team actually knew about this Pearl Jam concert, and they literally, the whole line, N-words dying for the chain around my neck, that's life alert. Maybe Travis, in his mind, he knew about the Pearl Jam concert. He saw it. He saw people dying, and he thought, "Wow, they're literally dying to get to Pearl Jam," and that's, they've fallen and they can't get up. Maybe he just that's where the line came from. It could be a long shot, I don't know, but if it turns out that they actually knew about it, if you were to interview them and they said, "Oh no, we were aware of that," and so that's why he wore a Pearl Jam, because that's what the significance of the line meant, and that's why they had a Sid Vicious. They were consciously aware of the 21, and that, I mean, it's very attentive to detail, and it might be a long shot, I think, but it's possible that they actually were aware of that, and that would explain that away. Even the up to the point of Travis having the where has it gone? This one, having the eye and the 8 flames and stuff. He might have actually seen the Pearl Jam artwork and been inspired by it as well. Again, could be stretching there, but if they were to come out and say that, you would still have the fact that 8 people died, and then a 9th died 5 days later. That they can't control. That they would say, well, that was a coincidence. Now, if that was the only coincidence, maybe I could turn around and go, well, I suppose it could have just been a coincidence, but that would be one possible naturalistic way out of this conundrum, I think, unless I've missed something else, because there was a lot of coincidences to keep up with. I still feel like there's too many coincidences to explain all of this away, but it's just trying to figure out. But because I was trying to think as well, another thing I was thinking was, what are we actually saying here? What, as conspiracy theorists or something? What are we actually saying is occurring? So the Pearl Jam top, he was wearing the Pearl Jam top and the Sid Vicious top across that line. Are we saying, if that was a coincidence, or are we saying that this, because we're imagining there's some kind of cabal of demonic, occult like people in the world, these elite, and they worship Satan. I don't know what they do, and they've got some access to some kind of power. So are we suggesting that they knew this was going to happen? They knew that 8 people were going to die and a 9th was going to die 5 days later, and this is they literally put those things in there on purpose to mock people or something like that. Because basically, are we suggesting that whatever this demonic power is has the power to control exactly how many people die and when they die? 8 people on the day, 9th 5 days later. Whatever this power is has the power to do that. Is that what we're suggesting? It seems I don't know how much power Satan has, if there is demonic powers, how much power they have. That seems because from Christian mythology, the only being who knows the future is God. Not even Satan knows the future. God is the only one who knows the future. Now, that's from Christian mythology. I don't know whether there's a naturalistic, what's the word? Natural theology. I don't know whether you can come to that conclusion from just pure natural theology, or whether it's purely doctrinal in the Bible. But you might be able to. But God, I always thought that God was the only one who knows the future. And see, if that's the case, this is the other option. If God is the only one who knows the future, then are these signs, these coincidences, put there by God as a sign to people like me and other people who he's trying to wake us up, and he's trying to, and he put the Switzerland flag there. He inspired the person to bring a Switzerland flag so that people like me and other people would make that connection and make it stronger in our minds, so that, is it God who's put those things there? And I can't get my head around it all, like exactly what am I actually suggesting here. But it's definitely that the whole Pearl Jam thing, in that line, in the Escape song line, is incredibly coincidental to me. A song before the Astroworld concert called Escape Plan, and on the line where he says, N words dying for the chain around my neck, that's life alert, as in they've fallen and they can't get up. He wears the Pearl Jam top and the Sid Vicious top. Sid Vicious dies at 21. Pearl Jam, they had everything. They had the very similar situation. 8 people died, 5 days later, all those coincidences. That to me is so coincidental that if I was an atheistic, naturalistic lawyer or detective investigating this case, that to me, I would take that as a serious sign of premeditation. I would take that seriously. I would think, I feel as though I would. I wouldn't just think, oh, it's. I would think, that's so suspicious that they said that. It's almost as though they knew it was coming, and I would be like, so did you plan this, or, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Don't know. Weird thoughts, weird things. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this video would be messy. I can't get my thoughts fully figured out on it. Anyway, so they were the mysteries, and then the understanding part. I just wanted to try and understand what's going on, because something that really pees me off in life is when people judge too quickly. Whenever I make a decision or make a mistake in my life, if you were to ask me why I made my decisions and my mistakes, my own reasons inside me are always insanely complicated. They're always like tied to deep childhood traumas and like deep ethical quandaries. Is that the word? I don't know. Like deep struggles that I've had my entire life, and I feel as though there's so much going on, and it's really hard to explain it. And I always feel like I want and I need and I hope that people will understand that I'm a very complicated person. I've got lots of reasons for why I do things, and whereas whenever people tend to judge other people, we always simplify it down to other people. When somebody does something wrong, we just think, oh, they're either stupid, lazy, or evil. It seems to be those three or something like that. We just simplify it down. They're ignorant, they're lazy, they're evil, or maybe some other things, but it's always so simple. And the truth is that it's never simple. Every single human being on this planet is complicated, and they go very, very deep. And so I wanted to try and kind of understand Travis Scott and his fans and the whole situation. I did listen to this song, "Stop Trying to Be God." I thought it was quite a revealing song about his mindset, and I think he reminds me of Marilyn Manson, and he's got a darkness inside him, and he's trying to kind of deal with it. And I kind of respect that, rather than being just superficial and pretending like you don't have a dark side. Stop trying to be God. Because I feel like the reason why he's similar to Marilyn Manson is because I feel as though Marilyn Manson is like rebelling against the fakeness and the superficiality of society. It's like he's just breaking. He wants to be taboo because it's like almost like what he really cares about is free speech. Like Marilyn Manson will like burn American flags or wipe his butt with Bible pages and things like this, and it's like he's kind of challenging people, saying, well, why not? It's just a flag, it's just a piece of material. What's the problem? And it's challenging people, and I don't know, I just kind of respect that to a degree. I kind of like where he's coming from, and so Travis is maybe he's trying to deal with the dark side. And this video, Stop Trying to Be God, my impression I got from it is that what he really means is stop trying to be good. Some people might think stop trying to be God means stop trying to be a narcissist, stop trying to be so everything, you be more humble. But I didn't pick personally. It's art, you can interpret as you want, but personally my feeling was that he meant stop trying to be good, as in every human being has we have this problem where we feel like we ought to be a certain way, and yet we always fall short. We have this constant problem of oughtness, of feeling like we ought to be behaving in a certain way, and then we never do. We always fall short of this way we're supposed to behave. We keep sinning, we keep buggering up, and we have to deal with that. And there's all different ways that people deal with it. A lot of people just hide it and suppress it, whatever. But biblically, you're supposed to. God forgives you. That's the best thing. For me, God is good, and God forgives you and understands. And whenever you make a mistake, you just get back up and keep trying to be better again. It's kind of the way I see it, I think. But we're all. I feel like all humans are somewhere between the animal and the angel. It's my nice way of. I like thinking of it like that. And in this video, stop trying to be God. It's like Travis is. He's struggling with this idea of trying to be perfect, trying to be good all the time, trying to be the angel, and he finds comfort in just giving in and being like, no, I'm just stop trying to be good. I'm just going to be bad. And he finds it feels like he has much more comfort in that. That's who he is. That's his nature, and he likes doing that. It's very powerful because what if your nature is really bad, and you just want to, but it's your. I mean, I was thinking of like pedophiles or something. Like a pedophile would be, that's your nature. That's what you really want to do, but you can't do that. That's a no. So you have to not do that. But he's kind of saying his nature is he wants to just mess things up and be bad. I don't know. Stop trying to be God. Stop trying to be good. And my feeling with him was that he came to the conclusion, because he gets a kind of comfort from saying, I'm not going to bother trying to be good. I'm just going to accept that I'm a mess up. I don't want to swear on this thing. I'm just going to accept that I'm a mess up. I'm a low life, and he feels comfort in that. It's like much better, and I totally get that. Like I totally get that from a biblical point of view. That's a good thing to do as well. Like I think God wants that, except I don't think he this isn't really a biblical way he sees it. It's almost like he sees God as this wagging finger in the sky telling you off, and he gets his comfort. So he gets his comfort from, it almost feels like Satan or something. He goes down into the darkness because that's where he gets his comfort. Whereas God is this wagging finger, and see that's the problem. I don't see God as a wagging finger guy. I see God as good and trying to woo me toward. I don't know. But and this kind of comes on to where I see the fans as well. Like, I think there's a lot of broken, dark people in the messed up people in the world with a lot of darkness, and it. I totally relate to that feeling of when you feel broken and messed up. There's something about going to these dark places where you feel comforted. You feel like you belong there. It makes me think of when I was younger. I used to wear ripped jeans a lot. This is just one example, but I used to wear ripped jeans a lot. And a lot of people used to comment and say, oh, you need a new pair of jeans, Bob, But I liked my ripped jeans because I felt that I identified with them more. If I was to wear smart clothes, I would feel fake. If I wore smart clothes, I would feel fake. When I wore ripped jeans, I felt like they represented how I felt inside. Because I felt ripped. I felt like a dirty, broken person. And so they represented how I felt. And so I think they're doing the same. He's doing the same thing. He goes to these dark places. He doesn't like the day. He likes the night because he feels like he belongs there. And it's probably just because he's messed up. And this is probably what. Well, I don't know, but I'm imagining maybe a lot of his fans identify with him and they like him so much because they feel the same. Lots and lots of like broken, dark people out there, very apathetic, very lost, and he gives them hope, maybe, or no, not hope. He gives them, they can identify with him. They're like, here's somebody who feels what I feel. It's what I've always felt about Radiohead. People used to think they were too depressing and all this kind of stuff, but for me it was like, oh, finally somebody who captures how I feel. It's great. So I don't want to condemn all the fans and Travis too soon without understanding. I do want to say, Joe, as well, about Travis is I get what other people say about how he does seem a bit narcissistic and he does seem a bit thug-like. He seems like a bit of a bully sometimes, and I don't like that when he does that. But he's a human being, and I don't know. People can have their opinions. I'm not sure. I just like trying to understand people. And his fans. What else do I want to say about his fans? Because the other two things about I was wondering the psychology of the fans. Let me go back to this picture while I'm talking about this. Where was it? This guy. Open up the pits. So the psychology of the fans. One thing I thought of was that it could be that the reason why because I'm not really attracted to going to a concert like this, but a lot of these kids are, and it could be because our world is getting so sanitized and safe now. Pardon me. The world is getting so sanitized and safe, and especially with COVID and everything's happening, it's like living with OCD parents. Everything is so controlled. You've got to wash your hands 29 times a day. It's just craziness. And but we've been going this direction for years. Like the health and safety bureaucracy and stuff just goes over the top. Maybe these kids are just reacting to that. They just want to risk. They want to have a bit of danger, a bit of life, a bit of they want to go crazy, let their hair down, and if life was super safe all the time, it would be insanely boring. Human beings like danger. We seek it out because we're humans and we're trying to figure out understand where we what the mystery of life means and what our place is in it. So people go skydiving, people go to watch horror movies, people do all kinds of go to theme parks and roller coasters, they go bungee jumping, all this kind of stuff, and you do this to challenge yourself and to get to the edge of life. And some people go even further and they do like base jumping or really kind of adventurous skydiving, and they break all the rules and stuff. And the more danger you have, the closer to death you come. Maybe the more thrill it is, the more alive you feel, but the more chance you might die as well. It's like, but some people voluntarily like to do that. And these kids are pushing it to the edge, and I don't personally have that desire to go that close to the edge, but maybe they do. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe not. But it's fine. If they want to do that, it's fine. They're just trying to live. But then, you can't be surprised when somebody dies. Probably, if you're pushing that close to the edge. I do think, well, ideally they should have been more responsible with it. Certainly because there's a lot of people in that crowd who weren't aware of how dangerous it could get. So yeah, I've gone over all the blame stuff in other videos, but just trying to understand them. And the other thing I was trying to figure out as well, I thought maybe is it could be a generational thing, because Generation X, which I've always kind of considered myself, I'm not sure if I technically am, but I've always identified with Generation X. They tend to be very apathetic, is my understanding of them. Dazed and confused generation, the grungy generation, all very kind of laid back, don't have a cow man, just kind of very chilled, skateboarding, surfer dudes. Very laid back, but kind of apathetic and kind of not that motivated. Whereas the younger generations seem to be very militant, lots of activism, lots of want to change the world, lots of very fired up, really kind of raged up like this. And I wonder whether it's just a response to a generational thing, because kids always rebel from their parents. They always rebel against their parents, and maybe it's just come from that. A lot of these kids have apathetic parents, and they want to kind of apathetic OCD parents, and they want to rebel against it. Maybe that's what it is. So just trying to understand them. That was some thoughts I had. I don't really know where I stand on it all, but something like that. And then I also had a couple of other thoughts, trying to understand the times we live in, because there was a couple of key moments that made me think as well. One was the people riding on the ambulance. And then another was this moment. Should I explain it first? I think there seems to be this kind of these two massive ideologies in the world right now that are coming to a head. They're clashing. And it's basically like classic Enlightenment values of objective truth, rationality, scientific method, all these kind of stuff. And then this postmodern future, this postmodern idea where facts don't matter. It's about feelings, about narrative, about power. And it seems to be the ideology of the internet and of the virtual reality cyber future. I think I've heard Brett Weinstein describe it as that, and I think that was a very good way of looking at it. Which is that in the internet world, in the cyber virtual reality world, facts don't matter that as much. There isn't an objective reality in the sense that if you want to be whoever you want to be, if you're a girl and you want to be a boy, you can be a boy, and you are a boy in the cyber world. That is the reality. Whereas when people in the real world say they're born a girl but they think they identify as a boy, some people say, well, they are a boy. Even though they still have a uterus and all the bits, they are a boy. And that's where the classic Enlightenment people say, hang on, no, they're not. They're a girl who identifies as a boy. They're not a boy. Whereas in the virtual reality future postmodern cyber world, if they identify as a boy, they are a boy in that world. It seems to be something like that. And this kind of disconnect between reality and fiction, fantasy. I feel like these maybe younger generations are slipping. They're already preempting this future where we're heading into, and you've also got like computer games. And when you die in a computer game, you just reset. You don't really die. You just reset, and you start again. Like things about what Travis Scott was saying about in his promo, the end. When the end comes, it's really the beginning. See you on the other side. It's very much like a computer game, when the end comes, you just reset, you begin again. See you on the other side. You just die, you get a new life, start again. It almost feels like that to me. I don't know, that's me. And so that clash, and the kid riding on the ambulance felt like he was in a video game. He was playing a computer game, and this is what you do on a computer game, and he'd forgotten reality. Even Travis Scott seemed to forget reality. And even I do as well. Because, so this moment I'm going to show you here, I felt like a clash inside me between these two parts of me. There was a part of me that felt entertained almost. Like there was a part of me that was like, I was watching it and I'm thinking, oh, this is cool. And then there's another part of me that, hang on, Bob, this isn't cool. This is real. People are dying. And I get this clash inside me of like, am I being entertained by this, or am I remembering that this is a real thing, and I shouldn't be entertained by this? But just watch this clip. I'll show you.
Yeah, all that. 2 hands to the sky. 2 hands to the sky.
2 hands up, y'all. 2 hands up.
Y'all know what y'all came to do. Chase me. Let's go.
Whoa.
I want to make this motherfucking ground shake. Goddamn it.
Whoa.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. 5, 4. Pull out the sound. Pull out the round.
So, and there was a part of me that watched that. I was like, that's badass. That's so cool. And then I had to stop myself and go, oh, whoa. There's an ambulance in the crowd. People are dying. They just jumped back in. It's not cool, Bob. And I don't know whether I wondered whether there was something going on inside of me, going on inside of everybody, of this conflict that cuts right to the heart of that Enlightenment versus postmodern conflict, cuts right through all of us, which is like, should we be remembering that this is reality, and then there's another part that kind of gets entertained and thinks it's fiction. So it's similar with like lots of things like 9/11 and stuff. There's a part of you that knows this is terrible, but then there's another part of you that's seen so many movies of this kind of stuff. It's almost like you don't really realise it's real. It's just another story. And I just felt like there was something there that was interesting, but I didn't take my thoughts right to their end point. I don't want to go on for too long. One other thought I had about before I go on is I did also have a thought about Travis Scott and this whole festival seeming a little bit like his level of Dante's Inferno. if you've ever read Dante's Inferno, it's, you know, this guy gets guided through the levels of hell, and all the levels of hell are like people are punished. Their sins in the world are kind of taken to their logical conclusion, logical endpoint, and they live like that forever. So, like in the lust realm, anybody that was lustful in this world, basically they were in the real world, they were being pulled around by their lust. They were being letting lust control them. They had no self-discipline. They had no control. They were not controlling their bodies. They were allowing their bodies to be controlled by lust, and they were being swirled around. And then in the divine comedy, the Dante's Inferno, they in their level of hell, there's a huge hurricane, and they're just their bodies are just constantly forever swirled around in these kind of winds of lust, and they have zero control of themselves. They're just forever being swirled. I think something like that. That's my memory of it. And they're basically, each level of hell is like an extension of whoever you were in life. It goes to its logical end. And I just wondered whether this is Travis on his way to his own level of in Dante's Inferno, which is that his idea of hell, his idea of, in his mind, his where he's heading is he wants these fans to be dying for him, to get so raged up, so in a lather that they literally die for him. And I'm sure I had more thoughts about this. Yeah, I can't remember all my thoughts, but I did feel like it might have been his level of hell. And the reason why I thought that was because when he asks people to put their hands up, it's almost as though he barely really looks. It's almost as though he's just asking himself. He doesn't actually look. I mean, have a look again.
All that. 2 hands to the sky. 2 hands to the sky.
2 hands up, y'all. 2 hands up.
Y'all know what y'all came to do, chase me.
I mean, he looks a little bit. He does look a little bit, but I don't know whether when he first starts to put one hand in the sky, he barely looks. It doesn't look like he looks much at all. I can't remember where it is now.
There's an ambulance in the crowd. Whoa. What the fuck is that? If everybody good, put a middle finger up in the sky.
So he didn't even look then. He asked everyone to put middle finger in the sky, and then he just turns and doesn't even look. And it's almost as though he's talking to himself. He doesn't actually realise the crowd are there. It's almost like they're just a part of his fantasy. It's almost, literally they walk through his mouth to enter the thing, and they are there, and they are all just extensions of his own ego. They are inside of his fantasy right now. And so when he says, put a middle finger up in the air if you're okay, he was talking to himself. He didn't actually look to see if everyone was okay. He just asked and then turned around. I don't know. I just felt like there were some weird things that happened there that was just interesting from a psychological point of view. Anyway, again, I thought this would be a waffly video. Final thoughts. I was just going to go over the case for the premeditated case again. I don't know whether I will though. Just the main argument for it being possibly premeditated, I realised was one of the big ones was that the show wasn't stopped because of the fact that it was so blatantly obvious that they should have stopped the show, and so seemingly simple. And I don't buy there could have been a riot kind of explanation, because I just think that's a hypothetical future, and it doesn't even it might not necessarily involve loss of life, whereas this is a actual emergency happening now, and it is involving loss of life right now. It's just, I don't really buy that. And then, so that was like that's a big reason for at least premeditation, or for possibly even like second degree murder, as in opportunistic murder. Because so that is one big reason, but then there was lots of other little reasons, like obviously the Pearl Jam stuff and the Escape song is like very strange. I think that's a fair sign of premeditation. Some people say the stage layout, which I'm still not sure about. Some experts have said it maybe wasn't ideal, but I went into that in other videos where I think I think they'll be all right there. And then there was one other thing I noticed, which is on this stream. If you listen to some of the comments at the start, I can't remember where they are, but some of the comments at the start, people mentioned that the crowd noise is muted very quietly. I don't actually have it in here at the moment. Some of these comments at the bottom, though, some people mention how quiet the crowd is. Now, I didn't really notice, but it did make me wonder whether it had been... If some of these fans had literally noticed that the crowd had been muted quietly, maybe that was a conscious decision by Apple Music, and it does make you wonder, why did they make the crowd quiet in a night when people would be shouting "Stop the show"? It's also possible that Travis Scott just requested that because he wanted more attention on himself. But I can't remember where it is now. You have to look at it. Yeah. Anyway, let's round this up. Yeah, I won't get into all that. So yeah. Anyway, it's been interesting to think about all this stuff. It exploded my mind up with thoughts, but I need to get back into other stuff. I need to kind of keep an eye on what's happening with COVID and stuff. I might keep an eye on this Astroworld. It was a very weird thing that happened, but yeah, that's all my thoughts. So I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, bye bye.